Hello, my name is Melissa Applewhite, and this is the recording of my presentation in PowerPoint. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and get going. Okay, the title of my PowerPoint is an IEP versus a 504 and support for environmentally learned behavior. Well, as I said from the beginning, my name is Melissa Applewhite, and I am a student in the MAT program at Point Loma Nazarene University. The area of focus is the difference between a 504 and an IEP, the underusage of a 504, the usage of IEPs, support and training for support and staff on supports and accommodations for students on 504s, supports and training for school staff and on supports and accommodations for students on an IEP. The significance of this study is this study will bring awareness to the qualifications that qualify a student for an IEP, as well as the qualifications that qualify a student for a 504. This study will also bring awareness to the support and training needed for school staff to recognize and to support students with environmentally learned behavior. This study will be useful to school staff and students and families. My research questions are very broad, but they're under the same umbrella of support and of research. So the first research question is, what is the effect of not knowing the difference between the support offered under an IEP versus the support offered under a 504 plan? My second research question, how can support and training for school staff better support students and families that receive support through an IEP and a 504? My third research question is, does the requirements and specifics of the Section 504 of the Rehabilitation Act of 1973 need to be updated so that the same support of umbrella created over an IEP is extended to the 504 support plan as well? And my final research question is, what is the long-term benefit of additional trainings and support for school staff to better support students with environmentally learned behavior? So this is a literature review. Let me go back to this section right here. If you notice, I start just discussing the difference between the 504 and the IEP. I think it is very imperative for school staff to understand the different supports that are offered and accommodations under a 504 versus an IEP. As you can see back right here, when I said the over usage of IEPs, I believe the over usage of IEPs comes from the lack of knowledge of the supports offered under a 504 as well. And if school staff was better trained on the supports offered by both, well, then we would see the correct supports given to students. As we come over here into the environmentally learned behavior section of my PowerPoint, it's because I believe that there are a lot of students who are in low-income areas that do not receive the proper supports when they're displaying environmentally learned behavior. Many school staff do not know the difference in a IEP versus a 504. Better support and training for students and staff would create a better security, support, and implementation of supports and accommodations for students on an IEP or 504. There is a mismatch of students and special education in low-income areas. Students with environmentally learned behavior do need additional support to reach their full potential, but should not be placed on an IEP if the only displayed behavior is most likely environmentally learned behavior. We see in the low-income areas, a lot of students who display environmentally learned behavior are placed on IEPs because school staff, their teachers or other school staff know that they need support. They need something to help them be successful academically and socially and emotionally. But because they don't know the supports that are offered underneath a 504, they just, hey, the student needs to be on an IEP. But whenever you are on an IEP, you're under the direct supervision of a special education teacher who mainly hones in on academics. Yes, there are social emotional goals as well, but that's also followed by academic goals as well. Now, a 504 plan, that is overseen by the school psychologist, which can build the best supports and accommodations and social emotional groups to help those students who are displaying environmentally learned behavior. So therefore, if school staff knew the difference supports offered on a 504 versus an IEP, students would be better placed on the supports that they need. The type of study that I am doing is a literature review. There will be data collection. Data will be collected through literature research and observational studies. Now, these are observational studies that I have done myself, and then also from other school staff or people who have worked in environments with the youth. I do have somebody that I did an interview with that works in a juvenile center, and so I felt like a lot of their input really was beneficial to this study as well. The analysis of data, this will be a review of literature. The ethical consideration is the communication of the importance of the proper supports for students. And that's what this entire research study is about, is making sure that each of our students who need these additional supports to be successful are getting the proper supports, because I believe the long-term effects of a student receiving the proper supports will far suppress if we are just throwing them out. Hey, we're going to give them some type of support, but not actually placing them correctly in their support needs. For the limitations of this study, I didn't really understand. I believe that the benefit of this study is limitless. I mean, I think a lot of people will benefit from reading on the topic and also reviewing the research that I've done. The limitations could be the lack of information out there. This is not as researched upon as I thought it would be. It is definitely within the last 5 years, but this has been a topic of concern for our educational environments for years, where low-income students are wrongfully placed in special education programs like full-day classes or on IEPs. I look forward to continuing my research, and I think this is a very relevant topic for education and our youth and students, and I look forward to any of the feedback that's given. Thank you.